there is Banda uh, and Jane Banda. I know she will talk about herself, but we come from Malawi. I came here later, following wife. She came earlier. So perhaps a little bit of that before we continue in terms of who are the Bandas. The meeting was somehow unusual in the sense that I heard about her for a long time because I was a good friend to her aunt, and that aunt kept on talking about her, that there is somebody else who can be perhaps a best fit for you. By that time, I had not seen her. I think perhaps even a year or so, or even more elapsed before we could meet. And then, I mean, she was working at a hospital, how many kilometers away from Lilongwe?
About 50 or so kilometers.
Yeah. And then it happened that they had some training in Lilongwe, where I was working. And the aunt, especially the husband, the aunt persuaded the husband to make sure I meet her before she goes back. And that's what happened.
The training which I went to do in the city where I used to work, that time I'd already qualified as a nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so went for some specialty courses. Yeah. So he came where I was putting up in the hotel. Yeah, and then we discussed over a bottle of Fanta.
Yes.
Yeah, because he doesn't drink. He never drank.
No.
So it was over a bottle of Fanta. We talked, and then so actually when we made that time, he proposed. Then he said, "I want to marry." I said, "How can I marry you when we haven't known each other?" Of course, I'd also heard about him for over 2 years.
Over 2 years.
Yeah. So I said, we'll see as we go along. And I think, he was very serious. And then possibly when he saw me, he was convinced with whatever he was hearing from my auntie. And then according to our culture, he had to send people to my village. So there the ball started rolling, and then we got married. We got married on the 2nd of November 1985. So this is our 40th year.
Yeah.
And then the Lord has blessed us with 3 children. A girl who is Mrs. Nyemba, who is right here in the church. And then Wana, who is back in Malawi, and Ntemu. And on top of that, the Lord has also blessed us with daughter-in-laws and a daughter-in-law and 2 son-in-laws. So we have 6 children now. And then 3 grandchildren. I was born a Presbyterian, right, and grew up in Presbyterian. And then we got married in a Presbyterian church. Now, we went to the Presbyterian church the first year of marriage. But now when our firstborn was born, I said, she was born on the 2nd of December, this Christmas they have announced that they're going to baptize children. So, we have to, also inform the reverend that our daughter too needs to be, baptized. So he said, "Wait a minute, baptism?" I said, "Yes." He says, "No, our daughter cannot be baptized." I said, "Why?" He said, "That's not biblical." So I said, "No, I was baptized when I was little." why should our child not be baptized? So I said, no, it's not biblical. So I was a bit disturbed. But then, because I suppose, because of the background of the Adventism, now instead of just reading the Bible randomly when we were going to bed, he started now I'm recording, he started, talking about the fundamental beliefs of Adventists. Okay, so I didn't know that they were fundamentals. I only knew them afterwards. So he started talking about, God. That one I had no problems. But those critical issues like baptism, where they're dead and so forth.
Yeah.
So we're discussing those things, and you could prove
From the Bible.
So it took about maybe 4 months or 5 months. And then we also lived with a nephew. So the Adventists used to come to pray in our house. So I would attend, just to give him support. Okay. Then from whatever they were saying, the sharing of the Bible and so forth, I became convinced. So I remember it was in September, maybe around 6th or 7th September, somewhere around there. Because I had been contemplating, because I asked him twice for this child to be baptized and he refused. Of course, I was very disturbed. But then I said, no, because this is biblical. I'm a Christian. I was a born-again Christian that time. I said, I'm going to just go into the Bible and see for myself. And then when we were discussing, we're having Bible studies in the home, and then I would read for myself. And then this day in the evening, after we had prayed, I just told him, can we go to the Seventh-day Adventist? He didn't ask me. It's me who told him. I said, why can't we go to the Seventh-day Adventist church?
Yes.
So he said, are you sure? I said, yes. Are you sure? I said, yes. Can you tell the church elder? I said, yes. Then we had our neighbor, maybe 3-4 houses from our house.
It was a church.
Then, my husband went, he told him, and then the couple came to our house. We chatted, we prayed, and they said, we'll take you to church. You are not going to be visitors. But, when we go there, we'll just be introduced, and then I'll show you where to go. So after that, when we went to church with them, then he showed us the Bible class. So I started Bible class in September. That was 1987.
Yes.
Yeah, 1987. Then I used to pray because I was going with my baby on the back, and we are sat there. We are strangers in this church.
And most of them were young, who were on the baptismal class.
Baptismal class. So I used to say to myself, these girls, when you have started this Bible class, they think me and my husband, we just pick each other up like that. And that used to disturb me. And then I said, God, in that class, I don't want to be there for a year, because in the Presbyterian church, you'd be in that class for a year before they can accept you. So I said, God, I want to be out of that class and be a full Christian, not more than 6 months. I want to be out of that class. And in November, the pastor asked, who is ready for baptism? I said, I'm ready for baptism. We went for examination, because back home you have to write the examination. We wrote and I passed. And on the 17th of November, we were both baptized on the same day. I had a good information about Adventists. Adventism.
So I knew.
But he didn't go to church.
I was not a member.
He was not a member.
We used to attend church at times, even the camp meetings where they are full-time, even singing, choir groups, but I was not a member. So
but we were baptized the same day.
But what happened that the three children we had, Isabel, Wanangwa, and Temwa, I had a very good job myself. I was quite in a senior position in government. And she also had a very good job in the Ministry of Health. But then we had challenges with education, especially for the children. And so we decided that we work only up to 20 years. And according to the regulations in the Malawi Civil Service, you can opt to retire after working for 20 years. And that's exactly what we did. I had to retire early again because when you hit a certain level in government, you are given an option of whether to go on contract or to continue on permanent terms. So I opted to retire and be on contract just because I didn't want to be there forever. And so because of our concern on the children's education, we decided that she should also retire and look for a job in UK. By that time, it was pretty easy for nurses to come here. And we retired almost same time. And then immediately upon retirement, she looked for opportunities here, of course, through somebody else who guided her in terms of how she should proceed. And then perhaps you can indicate exactly what happened.
The colleague of mine
Who was already here.
And she was our neighbor back home. She said, it's so easy to get to England. You better come now before the doors are closed. So I said, is that so? She said, yeah.
She was right.
Yeah, and then, she facilitated my application to the Nurses and Midwives Council of England. And after I'd sent in all my papers, they registered me within 6 weeks. And then I stayed for a year before I could even apply for a job because we wanted to finish with the government back home.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would lose all the benefits.
Yes.
Yeah. So we did that and then applied for a job and they gave me a job. And then they even paid for our tickets from Malawi to here. No, it was only me that time. Yeah. Because I said, I've never been to England, so we have to see what is there. Yeah, so I was given that job here, and fortunately, it was here in Blackburn, so we've always been in Blackburn. Actually, I wanted Manchester, and the recruiter said, no, you're not going to go to Manchester. We have given you a job in Blackburn, but Blackburn and Manchester, they are close. It's an hour's drive, so you'll be fine. That's how I was found. At that time, there weren't many blacks, really. Very, very few. Yeah, and then, I came here. I was living in Lamak.
And that was 2001?
Not far from Elder Lunan's house. Yeah, so my first Sabbath, when I came, I asked somebody at work, because I came straight to work. Then somebody said, oh, I know where the St. Adventist Church is. It is at St. Peter's Street. So I said, okay. Then I took a taxi from home. Then I told the taxi driver, I'm going to St. Peter's Street. That time, the roads were one way. So he just dropped me somewhere on St. Peter's Street. So it was just up to me
to find your way
to the church. Then I walked up, and because the signposts, I was coming from, Bergen Home Bargain.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
the
side.
other side.
Yeah. That time Home Bargain was not there.
There was St. Wilfrid's
There was a St. Wilfrid's School,
primary school.
which they also demolished.
Yeah, demolished.
So I'm walking, and the signpost is not well visible when you're coming from there. At least if you're coming from town,
Yeah.
you would see it. So I passed, but St. Peter's Street is finishing here. Now, when I looked back, I saw
The
that
church.
sign. So I went in the church. It was already open. That time there were the Lunans with their daughter, the services with their the daughter, and the son was praying. Then they were there, and then after the church service, Elder Lunan and Sister Zeni, they took me to their home because they said, "Where do you live?" I said, "Lamak." So they said, "Oh, we live in Lamak. Do you know the place?" And I said, "Yeah, I can reach there." And then they said, "Okay." So they said, "Okay, we're going to have lunch at our house." We went, we had lunch, then prayed again with the Lunans, and they took me back to where I was living. It was not very far from their house. So I lived in Lamak that time up to August. That's when my family came.
Yes.
He came with the children.
So he came August after you came.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because wanted
That was
her to
2002.
settle down
So at least
first
I
to
settled
have a
down.
house.
I found a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I found a house. Lindisfarne Avenue, near the hospital, not very far from the hospital, Black Benway Hospital. Yeah, so they came. They joined me in 2002. He came to join finally, I think 2003. After
Yeah,
he didn't,
because I had to go
renew,
back
he
and
went back
to finish off with
finish
the
off his
government.
contract.
Yeah.
So then he came. It made my experience with Blackburn Church. It was a small church, but very, very welcoming and very warm church. Very few members. Maybe sometimes we'd have people from Bolton. That time, I think we were in the same district with Bolton and Berry.
Yeah.
So we could see people from Berry. They could come and join us. Bolton, they would come and join us. But the Blackburn, family was quite small. But from that time, the Blackburn Church, whenever we're having, one of the things that I enjoyed most is the potluck. Because since that time, when I had come, every time we had a potluck, even people from outside, they used to like Blackburn because of that.
They would just
There was
join
also
during lunch hour.
That pastor who used to come from Wales, he also used to come maybe at least once a month. He would bring a big pot of soup and what have you. So really, I really enjoyed the potluck and also the warmth of the church. And when the children came, the way they also church embraced
easily integrated.
the children and the way they integrated in the church, it was really good. That's I would say we thank the church because all of them, they came as teenagers, but now all of them, they're over 30.
Sometimes it takes a mountain to trust you and believe.
At first, they chose me as the Sabbath school superintendent because I loved, singing and what have you. So I was a Sabbath school superintendent for quite a while. And then, of course, I was a deaconess at one point, and I was assistant treasurer at one point as well.
Oh, you're treasurer too?
Yes.
I never knew that.
Yeah. And then I was also, before I think Sister Jane came, I was also the women's ministries leader.
Position I've held for quite a long time is that of elder. But there was a time when I also served as church clerk. Yeah, I think it was a year or so.
Here.
Yes,
Yeah.
I served as church clerk. Loved the job because I like writing, and I introduced a few changes in terms of how the minutes should be written. Yeah, but I think the position that I've really served longest is that of elder. Yeah, so yeah, it's not very easy. Sometimes we take it for granted that because you go to church, you try as much as possible to ensure that everybody is, including the children, do so. We have had experiences where children actually move out even after passing through all that. We thank God that our children have remained there, very steadfast, and they're pretty forthcoming. In some cases, they don't have to be told what to do. They are proactive in ensuring that things work at church. I think it reminds me about times when, especially in the evenings, when we have our meal together, we used to tell them that whenever you go to church, you don't have to sit at the back. Make sure that at all times you look for opportunities. If there is an opportunity to sing, do so. An opportunity to do anything within the church setting, do so. So I think that has become part of them, that they don't just sit back and wait to be told what to do. They always, avail themselves the opportunity to work for the Lord, and for that we are grateful.
And actually, we are blessed because even our son-in-laws,
Yes.
they are strong in the church.
Mm.
Yeah, so we are really grateful.
We take this opportunity to acknowledge your unwavering dedication and commitment to Blackburn SDA Church and the surrounding community. Your contributions have made a significant impact, and we are grateful for your service. Amen.
I now ask Elder Perry to escort Brother and Sister Banda to the stage.
Mr. Binwa Banda and Jane Banda, on behalf of Blackburn Seventh-day Adventists, we do appreciate the service that you have rendered to this church. Hence, I present to you this token of small appreciation, knowing that God will appreciate you better. Amen.
Don't go yet. We have a bouquet of flowers for Sister Banda. We always have to begin this with flowers. Yes, brother.